All right, it's 8 o'clock. All right, how you doing, Ribhu?
Good, man. How are you? We're on time today.
Good. Yeah, yeah. All right, let's get this show on the road. Turn down the music here. How you doing, Ribhu? How's
Good, man.
We had a really fun weekend, huh? For those of you who aren't tuned in, we had a incredible Belleville investor tour just this weekend. That was last Saturday. Crazy turnout. I did not expect that many people to show up. I was actually kind of panicking because of how many cars were on that street when I pulled up.
Oh, it was kind of crazy because I reached kind of late and it was like a dead end street. And like, even if I didn't know what property you guys were at, you could tell because like the shoes were just like outside the door and the cars, like, and this little dead end street, there were no more parks left. It was funny.
No, we got to the point where we were going from one property to the next, and we had like a good 15 people in front of each house.
Yeah. We definitely took over that street that day.
Yeah.
Pretty hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really cool. We had lots of people who, I think more than half the people have never even been to Belleville for the first time, and they were really excited for what we had to offer there. Especially like we saw a bunch of properties. We saw a property that was suitable for duplex conversion, and right beside it, we also saw a property with the exact same layout that has been converted, which is super cool to see because you don't see that too often. You really get the good idea of what's really involved and what you have to do and what you don't have to do. And then and then we got to see some turnkey duplexes that were purpose built from the builder. Nice. Funny enough, the prices that, while it's slightly high in comparison to some of the other properties in Belleville, it's like comparable to a price of, like a bungalow that you normally pay for in Oshawa, Kitchener, Hamilton. 700s for a bungalow to convert to a duplex. Well, for the same price, you can buy a turnkey duplex built less than 5 years ago by a builder, purpose built, 200 amp services, 2 furnaces. You know what I'm talking about? So I think a lot of people were surprised by that, especially the guys coming out of Toronto, because that is incredible value right there. And you get the whole tearing warranty. Still a couple years of that left. Just peace of mind knowing that all the mechanicals and all the systems inside are virtually brand new, and you won't have to do any updates for a long time.
It's crazy when you think that you could buy something there for about 700 grand and make close to 5,000 in rent versus buying something in Toronto for 700 grand and making like $2,500 in rent. Like, it's wild. Like, it's just it's nuts. So
not even close. Yeah. And yeah, absolutely. Well, in a super good neighborhood too. Like that's one of the best in the city, I would say.
Yeah.
Rojas, Henry. Yeah, it was awesome. He says tours, fire emoji, clapping hands emoji. Yeah, absolutely. It was actually, I'm really glad you came because it was really nice to have a BCIN designer's perspective on what we wanted to do as well. So I think it was really cool because we had general contractor, property manager, mortgage broker, insurance agent, BCIN designer. Like, we had everybody you really needed there.
Yeah.
Anything you wanted to do out here, there was somebody to talk to, somebody to help you out, make your dreams come true.
Talking about dreams, what you got for us today, George?
We got something really interesting. I don't know did you see this at all already or no?
I don't know, man. I feel like no, I haven't seen that one.
Okay.
Oh, I know that one though.
Yeah, yeah, it's really close to your office, right? Like fairly close.
Yeah.
So this is a mixed use property in downtown Belleville. It is probably in the very south corner of Belleville, downtown Belleville.
Nice.
Yeah, right here, right on the corner, virtually corner right here. It's got it's very charming. You can see it's got that old school look to it. And it's got so much of an old school look to it that I believe it's actually heritage. Oh, wow. I don't know where I saw that. I saw that somewhere.
I know. I believe you.
I think it's in the back end system. I'm gonna have to check for myself to confirm, but built in 1850, it's got 4 residential units and 2 ground floor commercial spaces with undeveloped bonus space and parking at the rear.
Nice.
Yeah. What are your thoughts about mixed use properties in downtown Belleville? Because I know you you have one.
Yeah. Haha. I have mixed views on mixed use properties in downtown Belleville.
Why is that?
It could be good based on your commercial tenant that you have, because that really anchors your financing plan, right?
Okay.
Because like I think the assets are really good. I'm bullish on downtown Belleville in the long term, obviously, because I own there, right? In the short term, though, I find the I think commercial across the world really since COVID has not been peak, right? So it's just about getting like solid tenants that you have for like a long term. Because from a financing standpoint, the lender is also going to be looking at that, like what the lease term is, in terms of length, but also terms. So it could be good, but not all of them are good. So let's see if this one's good.
All right. So while you were chatting, I was like, I pulled up the back end. It still didn't say it was heritage, but I really recall it being heritage. So I was like, I gotta find out for sure. And I went on the City of Bell website. There's funny enough, Belleville has a registry for heritage properties, which is really, really cool.
Nice.
And yeah, looks like the Little Tailor Shop designated, which is this property.
Mm-hmm.
I think historic Little Tailor Shop right there.
Yeah, nice.
Okay, yeah, Rojas Empire. Henry says, "Oh no, heritage." All right, Ribhu, what do you know about heritage properties?
Me? What do
Yes.
I know about heritage? I don't know anything about heritage properties.
Okay.
I just know I know heritage properties. You need to be very careful what you do on the outside.
Mhm.
That's about it. I did not buy heritage property. I can tell you that.
So I have limited knowledge with heritage as well. I'll have to just look it up myself. I can't think of it at the top of my head, but based on what I know is that there are very limited things you can do. You have to really maintain the heritage of the
Yeah,
property and pay respect to it. So you can't just paint the brick like black if you wanted to because you thought it was cool, or you couldn't change whatever at the front because you thought it was good. And I think the most important part with heritage is if something gets damaged or destroyed, you have to repair in the old school way that it used to be. And depending on the material and the techniques used, you're gonna have to get some master craftsman who's skilled in that era of construction. Who
I just hire Mark Turner from restoration services.
That's probably what you'll have to do. At the
Yeah.
same time, to offset that, the municipality will give you. There is grants associated with heritage because they know there's additional costs associated with it. Henry from Rojas Empire Design says mostly exterior. Oh, we need Heritage Impact Assessment Report, HIA. Cool. And mostly exterior outside, but sometimes interior, depending on trim work on the inside and architectural details. Yeah, they pretty sure it's just mostly outside unless there's something really special on the inside. Which will limit what, like, if you had, let's say you plan on gutting it and doing something else with it, you may not be able to for that purpose as well. Amir from YouTube says heritage sounds like a lot of work. I have no doubt it'll cost you more money from an ongoing maintenance and repairs perspective because of the requirement to pay homage to the heritage to it and always restoring things back to its old ways, regardless of the financial impact. But hard to say if the grants offset it. Probably not all the way, but I'm sure it helps. Anyway, let's get into it. So again, it's got 4 units, residential, and 2 commercial units.
Okay.
Henry here. I should just invite him because he's getting so much info. How we do it is invite heritage staff on site to tour the building, and they decide there if there's any heritage value or things to keep or not. We did one at Hamilton recently and got their approval. So interesting. That way you have a good idea of what parts of the building is considered heritage, and then that way you know what matters and what doesn't.
Yeah. Good
Definitely
point.
part of the due diligence on buying something like this, right?
Yeah, 100%.
All right. So, downtown Belleville. This must be the parking they're talking about here.
Yeah.
That's the bonus. Maybe you can do something with it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay, more aerial shots. Yeah, we got enough of them. Thanks. Okay. So looks like one of the commercial units is what is this? Mask shop? No. Oh, I think it's a tattoo shop.
Yeah.
Either a hair tattoo parlor or a hair. Oh no, it says tattoos right here. Yeah, I'm blind.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a tattoo parlor here. Yeah, you got all the art here. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cool bathroom. And this side looks like it's a barber.
Wait, you actually don't know what this building is? I thought this is Bay Barber.
I know this building. I know. Do you think I got my hair cut there, dude?
Oh, I used to get my hair cut there all the time.
You think I know what the inside of Bay Barbers looks like?
No, I feel like everybody goes to Bay Barbers. Everybody goes there. I have a Bay Barbers t-shirt.
I set the clippers to number 1 and I go like this, dude.
Fair enough.
Cool. I mean, these two businesses have been there for, it sounds like Bay Barbers has been there for a long time, and
yeah.
And
everybody I know goes to Bay Barbers.
Everybody you know goes to Bay Barbers. Okay. Well, they're not going out of business anytime soon then.
No.
All right. Here's an apartment. It's pretty nice actually.
Yeah.
They got a in-unit laundry as well. Actually impressive.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Looks like they all have in-unit laundry.
Yeah.
And then there's that. They said they have like a little bit of storage space. This might be what they're referring to.
Yeah. Would definitely make that usable space for sure.
Yeah. Henry says any vacancy. No. So all 4 units are occupied. The rents aren't horrible, but they're not amazing either. And obviously both commercial units are taken, and they say there's a warehouse of 2,000 square foot that's vacant.
Yeah.
But Bay Barber is currently using it for storage purposes, so I wouldn't really call that vacant.
Sure.
Unless you can revoke their right to using it, right?
Yeah.
But they did mention some kind of undeveloped bonus space and parking at the rear. So maybe you might be able to do something with it. Hard to say. Maybe squeeze another residential unit potentially, right?
Yeah.
Did we go through all the photos?
Yeah, we went through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's look at some numbers. Because actually what I find interesting, I jumped ahead. I saw the NOI here. And it actually is fairly priced.
Yes.
Yeah. Assuming the NOI listed there is correct.
I don't. It might not be. Okay.
Okay.
The only reason I say that is because I just had to clarify the property taxes with the listing agent like a minute ago.
Oh. Yeah.
It was off by a little bit, so for that reason, we're gonna do this ourselves manually. Okay.
Yeah.
But so the total rent between all 4 apartments and both commercial units is $7,876.86 a month.
Yeah.
Pretty solid income.
Yeah.
Right. We have our vacancy allowance, property taxes. So the spreadsheet they gave me, that one was actually, they put the 2022 number by accident. It should be 8277. 8277 divided by 12. Insurance, I'm just gonna use what the seller provided, which is roughly $440 a month.
Yeah, it's comparable to what we're paying.
Sounds about right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Repairs and maintenance reserve is 5% still fair, knowing that
Yeah.
it's a heritage.
I mean, what do you want, for financing purposes or for reality?
For financing purposes, they should be fair.
Yes.
Okay. Property management 6%. I think that's fair.
Sure.
Utilities, they got a few numbers here. Some hydro, some water, some internet.
Yeah.
And there's a superintendent amount here. I'm just gonna throw in there what might as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's $175 a month of superintendent costs.
Sure.
Which hard to say if it like does that overlap with maintenance and repairs? Kind of, right?
I mean, generally the superintendent cost is above and beyond that, but like I feel like it's a small building to warrant a superintendent, to be honest.
I know, right? So
like at that point, you have it's like a property manager or a superintendent at that point. Not in general, but like for this building specifically, it's small.
Yeah. Okay. So actually, let me make this bigger for you guys so you can see a little bit better. So we got our income, expenses in there. Any other expenses that you haven't really, that's maybe we haven't thought of, that's something for a bigger building like this? Not a bigger building,
Snow
mixed
removal.
use.
So common area stuff, right? So snow removal.
There's no grass. I'm pretty sure there's no grass at all.
No, there's no grass, but the tenants probably do snow removal. I guess it just depends on where the parking spots are, right?
Like I'm willing to bet the super does the snow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Probably. I mean,
probably, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then garbage removal, stuff like that. But I think a lot of that could be written into the lease. So
yeah.
But just
I think this is pretty much it in terms of expenses.
Okay.
Okay. Moving on to the financing side of things. How do you finance a property like this in general? Like I'm curious what your thoughts are.
So mixed use is typically maximum 75% loan to value, meaning 25% down.
Done.
Okay. The loan and that's your maximum, right? So then it's really limited by the debt service coverage ratio, right? Meaning that, I simply put, right, your net operating income needs to be roughly 1.2 times the mortgage payment.
1.2. That's pretty standard for A lenders.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, in this case, right now, the net operating income monthly is 5184 divided by 4581. That's 1.13. So that meets that requirement already. But I think some of this will have to change as well.
Yeah. So the rate we're looking at, let's say 6.5.
And that's because this is a mixed use commercial. Is that why?
Correct. Yeah, I'm being a little conservative too, because I mean the good thing is that commercial rates are based off the bond market, which has been going down. It'll probably be a little bit lower than this, and it's a 25-year amortization typically for mixed use.
Gotcha. Okay. So now the mortgage payment's up to 5570, which I think you're not gonna meet your DCR requirements anymore, right?
No. So in that case, it usually implies a larger down payment, or a more aggressive lender if you don't have the down payment.
But that assumes that you have an aggressive turnover strategy as well, right? If you're not, there's no way you're gonna close with an aggressive alternative lender with a high interest rate and then just hope things go well for you, right?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, for me on this property, when I look at it, like there's not a huge upside. Like to me, this is a buy and hold play, in my opinion.
I mean, I've always wanted something like one of these mixed-use buildings downtown. It's just like I think it's an ego thing. I really like them.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of value in them because obviously they're not making any more of these, and I just think they're cool. So anyway, so I changed the numbers to be 35% down, just because that makes the
we're using rough math here. Yeah. Like I have a proper spreadsheet where we calculate all this, but it's good for
I'm just scrolling back and forth manually calculating DCR. This still doesn't hit 1.1. It's only 1.07. So let's go 40% down.
Yeah, let's take the superintendent cost out though, because that's gonna kill it.
We're gonna fire the superintendent. Done.
I mean, as far as the bank knows we're gonna fire the superintendent.
I think, yeah, actually, I remember in the multifamily course with Quinton, I think he always generally recommends firing the superintendent.
Yeah, and let's use 5% for property management.
Because generally you should get economy of scale for something like a building like this, right?
Also, it's like a rule of thumb.
Is that what lenders use?
Some, not all.
Okay.
Like it depends.
Gotcha.
We'll use 5.
Okay, so now we got 5438 divided by 4827. We got a 1.12 DCR. That's excellent. So somewhere around 35, maybe a little less than 35% down is what it'll take to purchase something like this.
Yeah, what's interesting too is like, another way to purchase this too, especially if anybody local to Belleville is watching, is, if they were planning to move into one of the commercial spaces too, you can also use your company's net operating income in order to qualify for an owner-occupied mixed-use loan.
So I just want to make it clear for you guys, when you refer to mixed use here, when we're talking about owner-occupied, we're talking about the business owner-occupying.
Correct.
Yeah, that's assuming that there's a hard assumption here that the lease for these residential places are ending soon, and you would actually be able to get rid of them, right?
Yeah, you need to dig into all of that for sure.
Yeah.
Also, commercial leases are a lot more easier to negotiate and stuff like that, right? So.
Yeah, depends on whatever this seller put in theirs.
Yeah, 100%.
Gotcha. Okay, so down payment, if we're looking to purchase this with a 1.1% or higher DCR, we're looking at 35% down, which means a down payment of just under $400,000. Not too crazy for a bigger building like this.
No.
Land transfer tax, gotta love Canada, $18,000.
Yeah.
Legal fees for something like this, I would imagine you're paying a lot more than $2,000, right?
Yeah, you're probably paying like $3,500 to $4,000. It depends too, like if you're buying it under a corporation that actually already exists, or if you're starting up corporate. Anyway, yeah, depends.
Yeah. Inspection, I think it would cost you maybe a little bit more.
But it depends again. So you got the commercial appraisal, right? Which would be about like, let's say $2,000 to $2,500. And then your appraisal. Your inspection if you'd like one. Generally, at least in my experience, anecdotally, a lot of the lenders, so like BMO is somebody I work with a lot. For a loan amount under $1 million, it's technically a small business loan, and you get away with an environmental checklist versus a full phase one. But on a commercial mortgage, a phase one is a potential thing you need to do as well. But let's exclude it because of the loan size.
Yeah. So I mean, overall, between all the closing costs and the down payment, you're looking just a bit over $400,000 to purchase an asset like this, and as a result, you would actually have a cash flow positive asset, which of course it's by design of the 1.1% DCR, right? If you meet 1.1 DCR, you're always going to be cash flow positive. Yeah. But we did have to bump up the down payment percentage to get there, which I think for something like this, like it's very common to have to go to 35% down to close.
Yeah, 30,
and then take action somehow to improve the asset valuation. Henry from Rojas Empire asks, how big is the commercial space? Can't we convert them into more residential units? That is a great question.
Yeah, and the 100% isn't what is that new bylaw that they passed to in downtown Belleville to allow that to happen a lot easier? We talked about it the other day. I can't remember exactly what it was.
Yeah, so you see the zoning is mixed use MX1, and if you look at the new zoning bylaw in Belleville, the new MX1 zone allows for the previous one you just had to be commercial, but the new one says the rear 40% can be residential now. So absolutely, that is I think that is the play here, to be honest.
Yeah.
In fact, if you take a look at some of the aerial shots, they talk about the rear storage area plus parking. First of all, gonna be a little confusing because this is like what do you call rear, right? But if you if you could turn the 40% of this to residential, I think that is the 100% the play for an asset like this, assuming you can have the commercial tenants vacate. Yeah, I really should I pull up the? I'm not gonna pull up the zoning bylaw. Everyone's gonna fall asleep.
You and Henry could get on a Zoom call and nerd out about this in 5 minutes.
But yeah, I think this is a pretty decent asset. 40% for units, but we can add residential service areas there too. I'm not sure if we'll be able to get away with that because I think they define 40% for residential or residential related use. So we'll see. You know, if anyone, please contact Ross Empire Design if you want to push the limits with the municipality. Because I know he's done some really cool stuff in Hamilton when it comes to commercial to residential. I think you converted the entire commercial, like a 100% commercial building to 100% residential or something like that. Maybe I'm mistaken, but it was a commercial to residential conversion, which was very intensive and involved. But I guarantee the ROI is there, right, for something like that. 5 to 8 unit conversion. Wow. Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah, I saw the full residential. Yeah. So something like this, I think, has lots of potential if you know what you're doing with the rear apartments. You like there's 0% chance you meeting existing setbacks and lot coverage ratios and all that stuff. But I think the city is gonna be pretty understanding considering this house was built in 1850, right?
Will they?
I mean, they'll still make you jump through the hoops with the minor variances, right?
Oh yeah. That's
but they'll approve you at the end, most likely.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Anyway, that's it for the deal of the week for me. What do you think? What is this? This is I try to find interesting ones.
Yeah, so like for me, the only play for this, like you guys are talking, like from a value add standpoint, is to figure out how many residential units you can put into it. All right. If you can get it to the point where you hit that like 5 unit mark, because how many are there right now?
There's 4 residential and 2 commercial.
And if you get that floor space, I think I'm forgetting the exact thing now. I think it's 30% of the area. I might be wrong. It's 20 or 30%.
30% for CMHC, 30% or less as commercial.
Right. So like if you can go in there, validate the zoning and what they'll allow you to do, add the 5th unit, meet your square footage requirements, exit into CMHC or some sort of other multifamily financing, depending on the full numbers, because I guess the loan, because you got to get the loan amount past that $1 million too, right? It could be a great project.
Okay, can you iterate why it's important to get the loan amount over $1 million?
If you're looking at CMHC financing.
Do they not finance if it's less than $1 million?
Correct, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So then it's just like regular. Yeah. So I'm not the CMHC financing expert for sure, but from my understanding, that's a minimum. So yeah, you'd want to make sure you can exit into that as a play. So you probably buy private or buy. It depends on how much cash you have too, right? If it can qualify, let's say a private loan for a year, and I guess one of the CMHC changes that everybody was posting about today would come into play, right? Because then you could buy it private and exit in under the 24 months, and you'll be fine, right? That would have stopped you.
They, if I'm remembering correctly, they don't make you wait 2 years with an interim lender anymore before they let you. Yeah, but you still have to use the interim lender, right?
Well, it's just like if your play is going in to buy it, reposition, add units, convert, blah blah blah, exit in CMHC, that would be the play, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you should just sit on it. You sit on it and you sit on it. I don't know.
It's a cool building. Like I would be proud of owning a building like this. Like just every time I'm downtown, just grabbing a coffee down the street, like, hey, that's mine.
Yeah. What I will say too is another play for this too is depending on the residential situation and stuff. Because of the building, because of the fact that it's heritage, if you want to have a little bit of a fun project too, like Airbnb's downtown Belleville crush like absolutely
No,
crushed. Like
yeah,
I have
you know
Airbnb
from personal
downtown
experience.
Belleville. Is that?
You know from personal experience.
Oh man, like it's unreal. And like I know Bay Barbers actually they serve alcohol now. Like you could go get a beer and a haircut. Like it's a vibe, man. Like that would be some sweet Airbnbs.
That would be smart. I would probably, as each unit turns over, I probably consider doing Airbnb in those
Yeah.
units.
Yeah,
Because why not?
I mean, you're right on Highway 2, right? You're 10 minutes from the County Bridge. Less than.
Yeah, it's a solid spot. Solid spot.
Yeah.
You have all the cool hip coffee shops nearby. I think Break Room is super close, right? Benji's not too far away.
Yeah. So I guess to summarize my rambling, it could be a good play. Probably not somebody's first because there's a couple smart exits here. You just got to know what you're doing.
I mean, I don't think I would ever recommend somebody to jump into a heritage mixed-use building from 1850, where the value add is going into the zoning side of things to add additional dwelling units out of the rear of the commercial space. That is not a beginner project.
No, and definitely you want some like a good designer on your side, right? Because you're on a corner lot. Too, I'm just thinking through like brainstorming. It's a corner lot, 2 major streets in Belleville, near downtown Belleville, close to the county. Like, what else can you do with this? Like, I feel like I don't know, but creativity will be needed for sure.
Yeah.
All
right. That's it for today's deal of the week. Hope you enjoyed. We try to keep things interesting by bringing interesting deals once in a while. As you can see, this one occupied us for the entire duration instead of going through multiple simple duplexes to analyze rapid fire. So check in with us next week, same time, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Most of the time we'll be there, but no guarantees. All right, guys. See you later.
See ya.